And welcome back to America Decides. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson recently sat down with CBS News for her first broadcast interview since joining the Supreme Court in 2022. Our own Norah O'Donnell discussed several topics with her, including affirmative action, which the nation's highest court struck down back in June of last year.
I want to ask you about in the University of North Carolina affirmative action case. Justice Thomas responded to your dissent by describing your views on race as follows. As she sees things, we are inexorably trapped in a fundamentally racist society, with the original sin of slavery and the historical subjugation of Black Americans still determining our lives today. What did you make of that?
Well, let me just say that the justices use our opinions as an opportunity to explain to the public our views. That's Justice Thomas's view of my position as expressed in my opinion. And I don't know if Justice Thomas really had anything to respond to with respect to the actual fact. And that's all that I was really focusing on.
But he wrote, she sees things, we are all inexorably trapped in a fundamentally racist society. Do you believe that?
No. No, in my opinion, didn't say that.
Okay, every time they ask a Black person in power, Supreme Court, Congress people, a Black person into this political system about the country and it being racist or fundamentally racist or just a little bit racist, the Black people always respond no, which lets you know that they're being guided in their decisions and in the things that they're allowed to say. What would make a Black person in this country, whether they're Republican or Democrat, not say that this country is fundamentally racist when it's fundamentally built on racism? And it's fundamentally still utilizing it. That's why she's providing the answer that she's providing, because she is fundamentally still under this oppression of racism and slavery, and so am I. So
my opinion said, look at where we've been and understand what affirmative action was designed to do. We still exist in a society in which the gaps that were initially created as a result of slavery, as a result of Jim Crow, exist. And that affirmative action, for example, was really a response.
Do you think that you and Justice Thomas fundamentally view race differently?
I haven't talked to him about this in particular. I can tell you what I feel and what I know, and that is that all of us are created equal. That we have in our society, the front of the Supreme Court says equal justice under law.
I don't care what court you're representing. If you're Black in the United States of America and you're sitting up here talking crazy like this lady, it makes absolutely no sense. She knows damn well what's going on in this country politically and racially. And her and Clarence Thomas can shoot fires back and forth at each other, but they're both representing a white system. She's representing the Democratic side of it, and he's representing the Republican side of it. And there's going to always be fights among Black people for that kind of stuff because they have a white person that they're trying to impress. She was obviously one of those DEI hires, they call them, or whatever, and Black people will be like, oh no. Biden said some stupid shit. He wanted to fill his administration with as many Black people as he could for different levels and different positions. And what that does is relieve him of the, responsibility to pay any reparations or do anything for the rest of the Black people. We're supposed to look up at Ketanji in the court. If she was the most qualified candidate, then that's something that should have happened and not be charged to our little reparations card. You can't give people as reparations. Ketanji is a human being. That other one, Kamala Harris, is a human being. They're not reparations. And anything you do as far as elevating a Black person and their job is not specifically aimed at helping Black people, you didn't do anything for Black people. She's on a council where she has to vote and majority wins and the minority loses. There's no benefit in you putting a person who's a Democrat, whether they be Asian, black, white, their vote should be generally the same. I don't understand what the big deal about putting Ketanji on the court was. We need some political power and some economic gain, and giving us Supreme Courts and aides and all these other black women. And what your problem is, Joe Biden, with black men, I'll never know. Those are the ones you should have been appointing. Those are the ones you locked up at incredible rates in the 90s and 2000s and up until this current date. There's an opportunity for you in the last 2 months of your time in office to take that pen out and fix some shit. Make some executive orders and make people who followed your racist career at least know that you're trying to make amends. Because there's nothing you can ever do to get back a person their life. When you just increase laws and you brainwash black people, we down talk our own people. Well, he shouldn't have been breaking the law. Well, he should have been educated properly. Well, he should have been given more opportunities when he went out looking for work. Well, he should have had a better understanding of the way things work in this country and not be given this subpar education and then expected to go out there and do something with it. And you notice most black men are in jobs that require them to use their body. They have to drive trucks or pick up heavy shit and break themselves down. And then you still have to work until you're 65. It ain't possible in most cases. It ain't. But we have to take these folks, the Ketanjis of the world, and push them. And push them out even. But they ain't doing us no good. She's sitting up here worrying about her and Clarence Thomas going back and forth over who the white people like the best. Who cares? Who cares? What good is this right here when Biden could have done something for black people? And he ain't. That's what they're refusing to do. That's why they're taking Kamala, because Kamala is lockstep with this. She's okay with it. Any black person who gets picked for a position and don't get to incorporate their own ideas and beliefs or thoughts into, you haven't changed shit. You just went in there with a black face and they wrote the script and gave it to you. That's it. That's what it comes down to. I'm not impressed with the Ketanji. I don't dislike her. I don't like her. I don't feel anyway. It's just a non-factor for us. I don't know what that was supposed to achieve.
And there was a time historically in which this country wasn't living into that principle, that promise. That's just a fact. I think it's important to remember those facts as we evaluate how much further we need to go, what progress we've made. I believe we can do it.
And we all know this country was at one time fundamentally racist. And I would like to know, when people are answering the questions about the country's not fundamentally racist, and based on your education and history, when do you think it ended? When do you think the fundamentally part stopped? When they killed Martin Luther King? Do you think that ended it? The fundamentally racism, was that it? Or was it in the 70s or was it in the 80s? What time in our existence here? And if you are admitting that the country is not fundamentally racist anymore, then in my opinion, it wouldn't matter what president we get. If every president is looking out for people equally, then yeah, we good. But if they're not, then you're lying. And just remember, folks, we need to stop taking people as reparations. Slavery is over. I don't care how black you are or what position's never been held by a black person. If it's not going to directly affect our life, and if you're going to put a white person in black positions and black people in white positions just to mess our heads up and make us follow people who normally we wouldn't even pay attention to, you guys are strategically just messing with us. And we want to have a country that's going to last and it's going to be here for a while. Do what's best for the country and not what's best for the corporations. And the Supreme Court is all political. Who gives a damn about the Supreme? They're supposed to be quiet but effective in what they do, and it's supposed to be fair and impartial. And this is the Supreme Court of the country, and we just are really in a pickle here, folks. But like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.